Well, good morning. Welcome to the Art of Fire. I know you're out there. Come on. Show us you're alive and awake this morning. Got to be a few of you out there. Come on. We got lots of stuff to show you, and it's going to be a fun day. Actually, we have the dynamic duo back in the studio this morning. Josh and Todd have both shown up for work, and they normally do. But with the snowstorm last week, you were treated to the odd couple, me and Foster. All right, now we're getting some folks in there. Good morning, Marianne. Good morning. Glad to have you with us. Identify yourself, folks. I'm Bruce. I'll tell you that much. We've got Josh, Todd, and Foster here today, and Theta, as ever, on the computer and taking care to make sure that everything goes well. So we're going to be showing you more stuff for Valentine's Day today. Good morning, Bridget. Welcome aboard. So what we have coming up this morning, well, we're going to have heart. Todd's going to do that. Josh will make a perfume bottle out of canes. Foster's going to do a three-piece goblet. Then we'll have some stupid human tricks. And so anyway, here's some of what we're going to see today. Here are a variety of hearts. You can order these online. You can get in touch with Theta. Direct messaging will work just fine. We'll have hearts. We're going to have perfume bottles, just like these right here. We're going to have a three-piece goblet, which we don't have on display right here at the moment, but we'll scare one up for you in a little bit. Good morning, Lynn. Welcome aboard. Last week, in our panic to get started, we didn't identify people that had won the giveaway pieces. So, while we don't have the blue champagne flute to show you, Kimberly Stern won that. And for this past week, the heart here was won by Jessica Sitter. So congratulations to all of you. Good morning, Jim. Good morning, Joanna. David, welcome aboard. And here's a sample of what Foster will be making, the three-piece goblet there. So that's what we have in store for you today. We've got the cake plates here. You can order those. I'm sorry, the cupcakes don't go with them. We've got the champagne flutes here, the jack-in-the-pulpits on a stem, various vases. You saw us do the Encalmo work last week. In case you're interested, this is how they turned out. And it was a lot of fun doing it. So there are the Encalmo pieces from last week. Yep, David, the kids are back in the shop. They're going to take over and actually blow glass instead of just carry on like a couple of fools. So anyway, that's what we got in store for you. And we have a special treat also that wasn't on the menu. Todd is going to make a cat. Many of you have asked about those before. While other people were working, you saw him making cats in the background. So today we're going to start off with a cat, and this is a special order from Marianne, and it's a gray cat. And after Todd gets done with the broadcast today, Ginger has ordered a reddish-orange cat, and Mr. Thurston has ordered a white one with a Panama hat. So Gilligan and the professor have not phoned in their orders yet. So Todd's underway now to make a gray cat for Marianne.
Bruce, what are we giving away this week?
I don't know. Nobody told me. What are we giving away, Foster?
We're giving away our souls.
We're figuring. Theta made some wonderful brownies, but I don't think we're going to give those away because they'll be gone first. Yeah. Welcome, Kristen. Glad to have you here. Yep, David, BYOC. Bring your own cupcakes. So Todd's got the core of this vessel made. He gathered a little bit of clear glass on the end of the iron. He shaped it, and after the next gather, he'll be going in this glass, which is a nice fine frit, and this is going to give us the gray cat. Got any questions? Fire away. We'll try to answer them or make up something if that doesn't work. And what have we got here?
That just magically appeared.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to be giving away, actually.
Oh, this is the giveaway piece. Yes. Wonderful. That's great. So be sure to comment, and that's how you get entered into the drawing, okay? Joanna, I'm afraid if we shipped one of these brownies to the UK, it might not be in its best condition by the time it got there. But you might be able to microwave it and do it, or you can virtually have a brownie with us. Okay.
Microwave it, put a scoop of vanilla ice cream on it.
Ah, okay. Then it doesn't matter how it started off life or how transit worked. Okay.
Crank it all together.
So, Carrie Jones says she needs to get a cat. Well, that's easy enough to do. Just place an order, tell us what you want, and we'll get one made for you and shipped out. So Todd is heating the frit right now, and he'll probably take another gather through that to gather the frit. Oh, he's done. Okay. So now he's going to start shaping this up. And you'll notice he changes the angle of the iron, and that changes the angle on the glass. It's kind of like an elongated diamond right now. It makes a cone outward from the pipe and then tapers down to a longer tip. This is also going to make it easier when he takes the next gather to keep that shape in there. Fern Broughton says hello from Simon Pierce. Well, welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us. Do we have pictures of the cat? We've got lots of cats around. I don't know if we've got pictures on the website. Do we, Foster?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And we got better than a picture. Here's one. Okay.
One of the blue ones.
Okay, so there's a blue one as opposed to the gray one. When Todd brings this gather out, and he'll strip some of the glass off into the furnace there, you're going to see how that shaping that he did on the marver translated into the shape on the piece. Now he's got his shears ready, and he's going to peel some of that off. And the whole idea with this sleeping cat is to keep this taper going so that he can wrap the cat's body and tail around the sleeping cat. You'll notice as he pulls, the glass comes to a tapered point, and now he's going to go marver that up just to return the symmetry to it, and by angling the pipe, he gets more of a taper toward the end, a much finer point.
Who's the Simon Pierce guy?
Fern.
Fern. She.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, she's something over.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about a sleeping dog? No, we just let them lie. Oh, yeah, we could probably do that. We need to start a collection of animals. Okay. What do the different sizes of frit do to the color of the pieces? Yeah, we had that in the last broadcast. The finer the frit, the more solid looking the coverage. The closer the little pieces of frit are together. The wider the frit, the larger grains allow us to have a little more space between them, and especially if we're mixing different colors of frit, they tend to appear more. They don't blend together as much. So right now Todd's got the heat in this, and we're going to watch him. He's going to let it drop. When it drops to the angle, he grabs the tail end with his tweezers, and then he begins to curl the cat's tail around the body. The glass is hot enough to separate from itself. He finds a spot to put two ears onto it. He'll do a little pinch and pull, and then another one from the other side.
By the way, she sent really.
And he'll fine-tune nose. Yeah, Barbara, I think someone else asked it on YouTube, so that's fine. We don't mind answering a question many, many times, because we'd rather you know what's going on and we cover your questions. Okay, so there he goes with the body wrapped around. Now the shears are going to help him separate it from the iron.
So Marianne?
You can see the cat right
Marianne.
there. Marianne, there's your gray cat.
Gray cat.
Yep. Beautiful. Now what he'll do is take it over to the marver. He'll break it free of the iron. He'll catch it in that little bit of fiber frax over there, or fiber board, and then he will torch the bottom where that came loose. It's a little bit of a scar on it. You can just see it. And then what he'll do is torch that. He's got like a double insulated glove on there. The man wears 2 masks whenever he's out in public. Well, one of them's a Lone Ranger mask, so that doesn't count. He's going to heat that. Now he's going to flip it over and press it on the marver, and that will flatten the bottom. By pressing down hard onto it, he flattens the bottom so the kitty will sit nicely on the table, and then with his gloved hand, it's off to the annealer. There we go. All righty. So, yeah, Bridget, the glove looks a little worse for wear, but that's because he's taken a couple layers of material. So some of those gloves had actually worn out. And by pasting the whole thing together, kind of like an Edwards Fabric Hands type thing, he's got plenty of insulation and can safely grab that. So, thank you all so much. Thank you, Todd. Way to go. All right. So, that was our special treat for the day, Mary Ann's cat. Like I said, we're still waiting on Ginger and Mr. Thornton. Okay, here we go. Next, Todd's going to make us a heart, okay? So you might have seen this before, but it's always worth watching. And I notice we've got quite a few new folks here today. So please be sure to comment, share, and like. Your comments will get you entered into the drawing for the free pieces. Somebody asked earlier what the white side of this Encalmo looked like. It just looks like a white side so that you look through the purple and there's a little reflection back. The blue and green bowl Foster made last week while we were having fun. Last week's winner of the heart was Jessica Center, and Kimberly Stern was the winner we weren't able to announce last week because we didn't know. And that was for a champagne flute. Next, Todd's going to be making the part. We'll find out the color in a moment. Describe that process for you. After a little while, Josh will be making a perfume bottle, and then Foster will be making a 3-piece goblet. So, what's on the agenda for the heart, Todd?
We're going to do a white crackle over red for the heart. It's a little bit different technique than what we did for the earlier one. I got a chunk of solid chunk of color instead of the frit, which will be the undercoating of red. We're going to put some clear over that, and then over the clear, we're going to put a very fine white ground frit. We're going to heat all that up, plunge it in the water, get the cracks to form in the white surface so the red will appear through that. And then we're going to put it into the heart mold.
Okay.
And that will give us our heart form. Now, I'm going to show this to you upside down so it looks like a heart. Otherwise,
there we go. Yep.
It looks like somebody sitting side by side in the bleachers.
Yes. Okay.
We'll get there.
Is that how Stephen Rolfe Powell did his sculptures? I'm teasing. Those were massive. At any rate, here we go. So you're about to see a really exciting color treatment here. Todd's got the red color on the end of the pipe. That's a piece of solid red, and he'll melt that in. We preheat that color to about 900 degrees, and it'll start melting here in a moment. And as soon as it gets melted down a little bit, he'll shape it on the marver. Foster,
Yes.
Kimberly Stern says thank you for the flute.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, wonderful. All righty. So Todd's getting that red glass melted right now. As soon as it's glowing hot, he'll bring it over to the marver and shape it. Remember to like, share, comment. Comments good for you. Comments get you entered in the drawing. And if you share, we really appreciate it because that's what increases our viewership. And we're really looking forward to that. So let her rip. Todd's taking a close look, and he's going to bring the color out, and you can see that it's pretty well melted on there. By rolling it on the marver, you'll get it more shaped symmetrically. And with a little bit of air pressure and his finger over the end of the blowpipe, the end of it actually blows out. That air had nowhere else to go. blow a little bit more. And we see a little bit of inflation, that's all he needs. Marvering now just to get a nice symmetrical shape to gather over. So this is the color which is going to push through the white frit after it's crackled. So right now, a gather of clear glass. He's given that just another moment to cool off. That's a very important step right there. That extra 10 to 15 seconds helps solidify that glass a little bit. Yes, Jim, we do some mixed media, and we also do pieces fitted into pewter and silver and stuff like that. Alrighty, so Tricia is watching from the north of England. All right. Anywhere close to Hadrian's Wall? And Ramiro, welcome aboard. Okay, so Todd's blowing that out a little bit, just increasing the volume some.
All right.
So he gets this volume to where he wants, and he'll be taking a gather and going through the white frit. So what'll happen with the crackling process, after he gets the white frit on the outside of the next gather, he'll dump it, he won't dump it, he'll actually, in a controlled fashion, place it into a water bucket. The water bucket will cause the outer surface of the glass to actually crack and split apart, but he won't stay in there so long that the piece comes apart. It's a controlled crack. And once that's cracked and then he blows out against it, the cracks spread, and what was a pretty much solid white surface will spread apart and the red will show through. So with the white and the red, should be a really beautiful heart for Valentine's Day. If you'd like to order one of our hearts, you can do it right now online. You can call us at 301-253-6642, place an order, and we can get them shipped out in a couple days. We're getting close to Valentine's Day, though, but hey, you don't have to just wait for Valentine's Day to give somebody a sign of your true affection. Okay. Hello, Patrick Foley and Jennifer Sumner. Welcome aboard. Okay. Todd's heating this up now. The heat back into it, and now a little bit of shaping on the marver. The shapes are really important to the glass blowing process. If we let the glass get too far off the pipe, it's difficult to form a piece. If we don't make it quite long enough, it's hard to blow it out. And you're getting ready for the crackle? Alrighty, so he's going to get this super hot. He'll bring the pipe over and he'll put it in a water bucket. The water bucket will form crackles in it, cracks. They may not be particularly evident at first, but as he blows it out a little bit, they become more and more prominent. So here he goes into the water bucket, holds it just a few seconds, and there you can see striations, and those are the cracks, okay? As he heats more and blows it out, you can see it increasing in diameter. Now the cracks are starting to spread, because the air is pushing the glass outward. Alrighty, there we go, beautiful. And the more he blows into it, the more those cracks will spread apart, the more we'll see the red coming through. Now, in order to go into the heart mold, Todd is going to have to get a particular shape to the glass, and he's also going to have to get a jack line, or a line for separation at the blowpipe. And that's what he's doing right now. And he's going to stretch that away so there's enough room to go into the mold. You ready for the mold to come out of the bucket?
I get it.
Okay. So you can see how those cracks are really spreading and the red's coming through. Now when he goes into the mold and blows, he's going to be increasing this diameter at least twofold. So you really get some spread in those cracks. Yep. So Todd's going to get that really hot, and what he'll do is turn around in a moment, and he'll put the pipe down through that little hole that you see at the top. He'll use his ankles to close it up tight, and then he'll blow really hard. The hot glass will probably create some steam as it encounters the water in the wood bowl. Here we go. He's in place. He got in the hole. Now he doesn't turn this because the mold is very specifically shaped. There's the steam, and there, folks, is a beautiful heart with the red showing through the crackles. Wonderful. Jack line, J-A-C-K, jack line, because it's made with a tool called jacks, and he's using the jacks right now to reinforce that line a little bit. In this case, the line is primarily what he uses as a point to separate from the blowpipe. So he's hanging the piece up for just a second, getting the mold back in the water. Very important to keep that in there. He's going to take what's called a flash heat, just a momentary heating, just to make sure that the piece doesn't get cold and crack. Yes, it looks exactly like the bloodshot eyeball from Halloween Jennifer. It's exactly the same technique. Josh delivers the bunny to him. When he's ready, he'll put a drop of water onto the constriction, the jack line, and then a little bit of vibration will make it break free. And there we go. Alrighty, so Josh will put that up to the glory hole, and they'll begin heating the end of it. Anytime we do a transfer like that, the point where the glass broke is cold. It was cold enough to fracture and break off. So it's going to take a couple of moments for Todd to reheat the end of that part so that he can pull it out some. While he's doing that, let's take a look at some of the other hearts he's made, and you can kind of see what's coming next in the process. So right now, he's got the whole upper portion formed, and what he's going to do is pull and thin out the tip a little bit. Then he'll take another heat and put the graceful curve into it. And as you can see, we've got a lot of variety of color, so you can order up most anything you want for that. So Todd's over there pulling the glass a little bit. Let's get back over to see that. You can see that he's elongated a little bit. That'll give him a little more room to work. Once the glass stops moving, because it's cooled off a little bit, he'll go back and reheat it. So you can see right now, he's concentrating the heat on the tip of that piece. Every once in a while, he'll push the whole thing into the heat, a flash heat to keep it all warm. But he wants to pull that out a little bit more before he breaks it off. You can tell he's got the heat concentrated in the bottom because it's turned a bright orange color. He'll pull it gently. And then where he's making that constriction with his shears, a little tap against the rail of the bench will break it free. So now it's thinned out some, it's not quite so thick. That little piece comes off, and now he's ready for a gentle heating and place the curve in, and he'll use his tweezers for that. So you can see, show a finished crackle heart piece. We don't have another crackle heart. We might have some crackle pieces around, but we will be posting pictures of this when it comes out of the annealer. Thank you, Joanna. Joanna Rudnicka is helping me out, guys. She's encouraging anyone new here to like and share. And that's really, hey. We got a part-time job for you, Joanna. Okay, so here we go with the curvature. We have to have the bottom of that still open. If we were to leave it closed up and there were any heat inside it at all, it could either still inflate or actually shrink. So there's our finished red and white crackle heart, a beautiful design. Thank you, sir. Todd will be bringing that over in just a moment and knock it off into this cradle in order to put a hook on it. So a little drip of water right at the punty joint where it's onto the heart. And that'll weaken that joint just enough that by tapping the iron, the heart falls free. We'll pick up a little more clear glass on the end of the iron. Yeah, he's not quite done yet, folks. So here he comes now. And right where the punty was located, he'll place the glass for the hook, gently draw up, and thin it out some. Then after he snips it, he'll use his tweezers to create the hook. A nice gentle curve around so you can hang it somewhere in your house. We'll let the bidding start, folks. If you'd like it, let Theta know, because it is for sale, and there it is. Wonderful. Now it's off to the annealer, and after about 8 hours after the annealer is shut off at the end of the day, it'll be out. We'll have pictures tomorrow. Thank you, Todd.
You're welcome.
Absolutely beautiful. Let's hear it for Todd, folks. How about some thumbs up? Oh, I love the hearts, especially for Valentine's Day. Yes, Lynn, it is magical. Okay, so let's take a trip back over here, see what we got going on. Oh, remind you also that you can get t-shirts. We have a very few of the red ones left. All of us, and somebody already claimed it. Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, if you really like that red and white crackle heart, order them and we'll get more made. But you better hurry up or be local if you want it by Valentine's Day. But as I said earlier, why wait for Valentine's Day or have to have it at Valentine's Day? Even in the middle of March, you can express your love for someone. How about that? Here is a t-shirt with a design made by Violet, Todd's daughter. And we've got several others of the gray ones like this. We got a lot of pieces in here. The hearts can be made with a multitude of colors. Now, since they're all made in the same mold, they're obviously going to have pretty much the same shape. But as far as color choice, pretty much the world is your oyster. And as Joanna reminded us a moment ago, please be sure to comment and share. But when you comment, you get entered in the drawing. And last week's drawing was for this beautiful heart, which was won by Jessica Center. And Kimberly Stern was our winner from the week before, when Foster and I were too busy to see straight and figure out what we were doing and didn't know the winners. So there we go with that. Next up on our list of what's happening now is going to be Perfume Bottle. Here's a few samples.
Oh, good.
These are all for sale. You can check with Theta online or right now in the comments section. Ask her if you're interested in any of those. Josh is going to be making one out of cane in just a moment here. What is the orb next to the heart? Oh, okay. This is something new.
Did Ramiro ask that question?
Ramiro Camarillo is online with us today.
Did he ask that question? Was that him that asked?
No, Bridget
okay.
asked.
I thought Ramiro was trying to
No, it wasn't. Yeah. But thank you, Ramiro. Ramiro has gotten into some welding and stuff, and he's been making different shape molds. And this one, because of the nature of the mold, you can actually see the line where the mold was closed together, but it really doesn't detract from the beauty of the shape.
Well, come on,
now, this has kind of a bubbled up, kind of popcorn shape, or like the packing bubbles you get.
Hey,
So-
can I say hi to Rosalind and my friends in California?
Say
Hi,
it.
Rosalind and my friends in California.
Okay.
Nice to see you.
All right, so this is the mold that Ramiro made, and you can see, well, I could say that it reminds me of a lot of things, but the two halves of this circle would close together, and when it's closed together, you'll see this opening in the top. The blowpipe would come from above, the glass is thinned out, the glass blower blows against the ball bearings. And you can see what he's done is weld together a series of rings in ever-increasing diameter for one half of it, and then the other half. And that's what gives us that bubble finish on it. So that's really pretty cool. So Foster's handing me a note, something here.
Sharon Journey just bought the
Sharon Dorney just bought the Crackle Heart. Woohoo! Okay, so.
Hey, thank you,
But
Sharon.
we have, thank you very much, Sharon. We've got lots of pieces. You can go to our catalog and look at artifire.com and see many other pieces that are for sale. You can order up anything we've got in the catalog and a lot of others. Okay, so next is Josh, and he's setting up the cane plate. What colors you got here, Josh?
So it's a combination of, it's kind of like a green over white, a pink over white, it might be hard to see on camera, a white twist, and then another pink over white. And then just keep alternating the pattern.
Okay, so he's basically got a pattern of 4 canes, and he makes sure that the last set matches up so that when he rolls this whole thing together, that pink over white, which looks kind of red right there. Here, you get a little better picture now. Yeah, you can see the green and you can see the pink, and there's the white twist in the middle. So what he wants to do is make sure that all of those colors come together in a continuing pattern. Right now they're on a ceramic plate, which will get warmed in the glory hole. And you can see that this tool right here, we call a pie divider. By setting the straight end to the width of the cane pieces, this end is calibrated so it's reduced to 1/3 basically the size of that. It actually is pretty accurate as far as the 3.14 proportion goes. Now, he dropped that just a little bit and thinks he moved it, so we got to be really careful. What do you want? 1 full cane in?
Yeah, 1 full cane.
Okay, so it closed up a little bit, so excuse the camera work while I adjust this pie divider. And you can see that the interior of those 2 straight legs are just at the edge of the canes. And he's going to come over here and make sure I got it right. We good?
I think so.
Okay. And now he takes the
See, I'm a little big.
circular end there, and it's just a little bit large, so he'll cut it down. So it's really important when we're doing this process not to let those pie dividers fall on the floor or head toward the floor, and then when we grab them, it changes the measurement. So that's what you just watched us do right there. Just a quick adjustment to make sure that the pie divider is in fact what he wants. So by rolling it on the marver, that's the collar he made, he's going to cut down the diameter, and we'll watch him check the fit right now with the calipers. Okay, and you can also notice this collar is tapered just a little bit, so if he is a little bit narrow on the diameter or the canes change width because of squeezing together, he still has plenty of room to pick it up. So he's got the collar over in the pipe warmer. It'll stay over there in the flame, staying nice and hot. He's coming around now with the plate. And what he'll start doing is heating up those canes. So the objective is to get those hot enough to fuse together without melting. Now that's a 2300 degree glory hole, 2300 Fahrenheit for those of you in the UK. And I got to tell you, it really is pretty cool to have people from all over the world
Okay,
watching.
Bruce, what's that in Celsius?
I really don't know. But if you want to do the math and go backwards from 9/5 plus 32, I'll be glad to wait while you do it, because that's the formula for converting.
That's about 950.
I'm figuring somewhere around 950 to 1,000, yeah, somewhere in there. Okay,
Wait a minute. What's the opposite of clockwise?
Widdershins. Come on, everybody knows Widdershins. Okay, so Josh now is checking the state of those canes.
Wait. What's it called when you're ice fishing and you've had a bran muffin and a cup of coffee and you gotta...
Okay. Alrighty. So, as I started to say before we all got distracted by our own warped thoughts, Josh is heating these canes up so they'll stick together and fuse. but not to the point that they start melting into the plate. So he'll heat them up a couple of times, and in between heats would take me longer than the show. Joanna, yeah, I think conversion from Fahrenheit. I mean, it's really easy when you're down in the range of 0 and 32. The equivalents are easy to work on. However, I did get in a shower recently. 2,000 Fahrenheit is 1093, says Ted. Okay, but I'll tell you what's really a shock is to get into a shower that's calibrated and sets the heat, but it's not until you realize that it's in centigrade or Celsius and you look at 48 to 50 degrees and it's really hot. Okay, so you can see the glow in the canes. He's got enough heat in it. They're fused. Here he comes with the collar. He's going to make sure the plate of canes is not melted. One of those guys stuck a little bit in a depression. And now, by placing the collar on the end of the canes, he picks that up. And now he'll work toward aligning them. He won't bring them into full contact yet. But in order to keep them from getting torqued or drawn off center, he does this process rather slowly and without a huge amount of heat, because he wants those two end canes to come together. So you can see him with the tweezers there and pinching at the bottom, but using the edge of the tweezer blade along the middle so he doesn't put pinch marks in it. So there we have them. You can see that they fell a little off center, but that's because it was just cooling off. He had just the right temperature. As he turns in the glory hole, they'll come back in line, and he'll have a cylinder to work with. This will seal them in together. Now he has to be pretty careful with the turning of the iron. You'll notice he doesn't go more than a few turns before reversing direction. Were he to turn continually clockwise or continually widdershins, he would wind up with twisted cane in the appropriate direction. Yeah, Barbara Gould Belzer, I figure there's an app for conversions, but sometimes it's more fun just to guess and goof around, at least when it doesn't really count. Right now what he's doing is closing off the end, and you'll notice he doesn't rotate that iron more than a couple of rotations before he reverses direction. It's going to be a perfume bottle, Ted. All right, so there's the cane design, and it's a fairly long set of cane. So what he's going to do right now is heat it up, make sure it's sealed. He'll be able to blow it into a bubble. And yes, Fern, pie as in P-I, yeah. Not P-I-E. We don't need a pie divider around here. That's my job. I get a knife and that pie is divided. Ain't no question about that. Okay, so again, he'll keep the turn going in both directions. Right now he's cooling the tip of it. When he angles the iron down, he puts a little air in it just to make sure it's all sealed up, and then gradually he'll keep shaping it up. My daughter has a t-shirt that says, let's see, what is it? When I saw P-I-L-A-T-E-S, I didn't know it was an exercise program. I thought it was pie and lattes, which sounds a lot better. So is this going to have an elongated top, Josh? Okay. So that's why he's cut the two dividing lines in it. One of them to divide a portion of the glass. Pi day is 314. That's correct. Yeah. Okay. So right now he's got a jack line to separate the piece from the blowpipe, and then also a jack line to separate the two halves of the work. He's got it all hot, and we can tell that the entire thing is heated by looking at the blowpipe. Look at the end of the blowpipe, it's bright orange. While there's a separation point, there's the top of the vessel, and he can blow while he works. This is the advantage of having the blow hose hooked up to the end of the pipe. It allows a glass blower to work the piece with the hand tools and blow air in at the same time. And when he comes back this time, we'll get a nice view of the end of it where the four fully pink pieces comes together. It doesn't take long to reheat. And we'll come on down here at the end and let you get a view of where those four pieces of the pink over white. Now he has to keep turning. Once it cools off a little bit, he may pause for us, and this won't go so fast, but really it's most important for him to keep working the piece. He's flattening the bottom now. He's probably putting a little air into it. He's using his tweezers to make sure it's centered, and Foster's going to make a punty for it. So Josh will get rid of the blow hose. And he'll go over and take another flash heat. This is to keep everything warm so that it doesn't crack while they're waiting for the punty process to take place. The punty is just a little bit of glass on the end of an iron. There's Foster making it over there. That'll get attached to the center of the bottom. Josh will take the punty from Foster with his tweezers, place it right in the center, and then he'll roll both irons, everything all together. There's the point where he's going to break it free, and Foster now will begin reheating the piece a little bit. Yes, Rebecca, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be gorgeous. And once you see what the finished product is like, you may want to purchase it, which is really easy to do. You can contact Theta in the, on the comments section. You can contact us at artoffire.com. You can call at 301-253-6642. So it will definitely be available. This is not a custom order. The stopper will be made later on.
So I got the bottom half finished. Now, thinking about how I'm going to finish the top. Do we want to flare the lid? Do we want to inflate it right here? Maybe give it a nice, interesting shape?
Okay.
What do you think, Bruce? Definitely flare the lid.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Maybe we'll give
That way, in case you've got some Chanel number 5 and it drips off, so maybe a flared lip with a slight taper back into the throat so you never lose any perfume.
Absolutely.
Oh, you'd think I used the stuff. Okay, and we can also see where the heat is. The heat is in the end he's working on. The rest of it is basically finished. Watch as he gently raises the angle of the jacks, and he's going to create a flared top, and it'll have a little bit of taper, but he'll keep working that until he's happy with the shape. Yes, Lynn, we love flair, and Josh has a lot of flair. Look at that haircut. Yeah. Okay, so a little more heat in the top. You can see the bright orange color. And from here, you can see how he uses this arm to raise the angle of the jacks, keeps the constriction tight, and this just folds it back against itself and keeps it straight. The jacks right there were in what's called a skewed position. One blade was on one side of the glass lip, the other was on the other side. If you have a chance, Josh, would you just show that again real quickly so they can see it? Okay.
And then we'll puff it.
Okay. So He's going to show you how the jacks are skewed. One of them will be on one side of the lip. The other blade will be on the other side of the lip. This pinches the glass in between the two blades. So he's going to change. There he is. The blade closest to him is behind the lip. The blade furthest was on the outside of the piece. Okay.
All right, so I kind of wanted to...
You want a shoulder in it?
Yeah, kind of take on a nice curving
Okay.
shape.
So he's going to use the steam cone. So for those of you that are new here, this is a steam cone. It's a piece of cherry wood cut into a cone, soaked in water. And when Josh inserts that cone into the opening of the piece, the steam that's created by the evaporating water will cause the glass to bulge out. So he's concentrating the heat where he wants the thing to expand. And we'll get over here and take a good look. It will not expand the lip. That's not in an enclosed place. But look at the next section down. You can see it inflating, and he's going to blow out those shoulders with the steam cone to the point that he wants. When he gets just the right shape and size that he wants, he'll be done with it. Are you going again, or are you happy with that? Okay, so lots of times we want the shoulders to blow up a little bit, a little closer to the lip area so that there's not such a wide space and kind of a tapered look. So it's kind of blowing out the shoulders, and we'll take another look at that as he comes around. The lip doesn't change size because it's not in the area expanding. But now you can see that the shoulders are much more blown out now. He'll use the jacks to straighten it all out, keeping it centered and on line the whole time. And when he makes any final adjustments, then he'll put that away. Centering is probably the hardest skill for beginning glass blowers to pick up. And in fact, even for experienced glass blowers, quite often keeping the glass centered is a big challenge. So he's done with the blowout. The jacks at the base of the piece or anywhere up in the middle is just to keep the centering going. Centering is when the piece is aligned equally around the central axis of the piece. So if you drew an imaginary line straight out from the blowpipe, straight out through the piece, that would be your central axis. And he wants an even concentric distribution of the glass all around that. And yes, Krista, it is ornate. The canes are beautiful. And when he comes back this time, I want you to notice how straight they are. That's a real indication of how much control is there. All right, so now what he's going to do is take a butter knife and chip around the punty juncture, and then he's going to tap the pipe with a hammer handle. Foster will take it and put it in the annealer, and after 8 hours of annealing, it can be yours. Thank you, Josh. Let me get you out of the sunshine background. Beautiful piece. Let's hear it for Josh, folks. Come on. Hearts, flowers, the oh my gosh emoji, the whole, yes, it is stunning. It is absolutely beautiful. Okay, so there you go with your perfume bottle. I think Theta might have quoted a price to someone a minute ago. The comments are streaming and we love it. Thank you all. Okay. Amy, don't worry about it. This will be posted online on Facebook later today, this evening, or tomorrow at the very latest. And you'll be able to see that piece as well as the heart and the cat that Todd made earlier. So, no, they didn't gather over this like most pieces. Because it's such a small, delicate piece, it really wasn't necessary to do that. And here's another one that was made with cane some time back. And as I rub my thumb across this, I can feel the joints between the canes. So on something like that, we really don't need to do extra gather.
I don't know if you can see it better.
Yeah, now you can see. And some of these are kind of the same colors that Josh just used.
Yep.
Okay. And we also can do them with frit. There's a purple one with a white swirl. Here's a peach colored one. So really, there's not any limit on what we can do with that. So let's take a look at things. So we saw the hearts earlier. Todd made those. And we can get those in most any color you want. So order up. Valentine's Day is here, but as I've said before today, it's really worth it to give a heart anytime. And Foster in a moment is going to be making a 3-piece goblet, which is just like that one right there. Okay, and Todd made a cat. And we took down the blue one that was on display, but we had a special order for someone for a cat. Now, I would like to interrupt just 1 second because some of you had questions last week when we talked about a switched axis. Like, what is that? What are you talking about? Well, if you've watched last week's episode, or you have a chance to later, Foster and I were here in the studio playing and making encalmo, which is basically 2 cups put together, usually of different colors. So we had this one set up as a sample where you can see one color cup was on the blue, which is the top of the vessel, the other was white. And Foster then proceeded to make this beautiful bowl in the celadon and green, okay? And then, just for grins and giggles, we decided to try a switched or reversed axis piece. So if you can imagine, this piece right here on the blowpipe at one time had the pipe going straight through it. The central axis around which the piece rotated was aligned like that. All right? So to switch the axis, would you just hold that steady, please? You can orient them like that and then insert a blowpipe up here, which is what we did with this one.
Make it a little easier. Here's a sphere.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know where the hook is the hole.
Yeah. So if you turn that 90 degrees.
Right, poke a hole right here, turn it 90 degrees.
Okay.
And now your piece is sideways.
So with this vase, you can see that we've got the white on the right, the purple on the left. If we had not switched the axis, we would have had the white on the bottom and the purple on the top. No big deal. But some of you had questions about not only what does it mean, but what on earth are you saying? So I will try to be more exact in my pronunciation. But it's switched or reversed axis, A-X-I-S.
Or rotated.
Yes.
Rotated.
And it has absolutely nothing to do with the men's healthcare product. That's just Axe, isn't it?
Axe.
Axe. Yeah, that's just Axe. Okay. So, wow. It's so easy to digress. All right, Foster's going to be next for us, and Foster's going to make the 3-piece goblet, which is going to consist of a bowl and a stem and a foot.
And I'll do a cranberry optic goblet.
Okay.
And then to tie it in, he's going to rotate the axis.
Yeah.
And then calmo.
No,
I'm going to rotate the axis at the stem.
No, I think what you're going to do is go out to your van and rotate the axles.
But it's in preparation for the next storm coming in.
An ad for the hearts. Okay, maybe Theta can help you with that commentary on. No, the purple and white is really just a base. It was just something to have some fun with while Foster and I were finding a way to fill time. Why 3 pieces versus doing it as 1 piece? Because we can. Or as Edmund Hillary said, because it's there. Okay. And some of you are going to have to go way back to tell us who Edmund Hillary is. Come on, Josh. Mount Everest? Okay. We definitely have a generation gap here, but I had no idea who, I don't even know how to say it. It looks like Weekend without the E. The rap artist, W-E-K-N-D. Weekend, that's how you say it?
Yeah,
it is Weekend. Yeah. So that was new on me. Okay. So hopefully somewhere in the midst of all that nonsense, you got an idea of what a switched or reversed axis is. All right, so you've got the cranberry color on there, Foster.
I have the cranberry color that's now been melted,
Okay.
and we'll go ahead and marver it up.
You'll take this and marver it.
Set a bubble.
Now, when he blows into that and covers the end of the mouthpiece with his finger, the air is trapped inside. It's got no place for that pressurized air to go except out into that hot glass. And you can see it taking on a rounded shape, whereas it had a tapered shape before. I really do like that, though, that somebody commented. I really like the comments, folks, because someone said a little while ago, oh, a PI divider. And, you know, lots of times we'll throw around terms and not even think that it's not making sense to somebody. So if what we're saying doesn't make sense, ask us about it. And if I don't have any other way to explain it, I'll have someone else explain it to you. Okay, so Foster's taking a gather here. This is the clear glass encasing the cranberry center. And when he brings it back, he'll block that a little bit. You can see how it's kind of like a little wobbly, and also the surface is not completely symmetrical. Oh, and when he stops rotating, watch what happens. So by using the block, this is one of the main functions of the cherry wood block. He's going to keep it turning. It's mostly centered, but this is going to keep it nice and symmetrical. It'll also put a little bit of a skin, if you will, or stiffen the outside. In just a moment, you'll see steam rising. Sometimes we can see that off of Foster's head in a cold morning. Okay, so he traps the air again. Let's watch this bubble enlarge. There it goes. That central core pushes out. And that's the cranberry color getting larger and larger. He'll block it again just to cool it some and shape it.
Okay.
All right, so now it's off for another gather. And if after his gather you see him raise the back end of the iron so the glass is pointed down at about 45 degrees after he lifts this out, that's to strip the glass off back into the furnace. That high angle there allows that liquid material just to flow back into the furnace, and we don't have to remelt it as colored or anything. Now he's back to level to keep it under control. He'll give it a quick roll on the marver to keep the cylindrical shape. He needs that cylindrical shape for when he goes into the optic mold. A little bit of air, but now he'll come on over and get that really hot, very, very hot. He'll drop it in the optic mold, blow hard, and get ridges in it. No, I said the steam rises off of Foster's head, not because he's made of wood. In that case, we'd call him Pinocchio. No, sometimes if you're sweating and getting hot from blowing glass, you can actually get steam off the top of your head. There he goes in the optic mold, and there are our ridges. Okay, so this is just the cup construction at this point. So right now, after he's got that a little bit more warmed up, you know, he was really hot when he went in the mold, but the metal mold stole some of the heat. Now with the jacks, J-A-C-K-S, he makes a jack line or a neckline, and that's going to allow him to separate from the pipe later. Pressurized air again, and watch that just blow right up into a beautiful sphere. Most of our pieces are made by having a sphere with a jack line in it, and we can either elongate it or we can shorten the length of the piece depending on whether we want a vase or a bowl, or we can just leave it like it is if we want something round. When we keep the piece horizontal for the most part, we get a sphere. And that's kind of what Foster's got going on here for the cup of the Goblet. A little more blowout. How often do you use the optic bowl? Well, I could be a wise guy and say anytime we want ridges in it. But really, it's just the design of the piece. So Foster's choice on this is to have the ridged edges on the cup of this goblet. So in that case, we would do it. Or if one of you ordered a pair of goblets like this, Josh is going to take the iron from him now and move on over. It's just like when do we crackle a piece? These samples of the stemless wine glasses are all crackled. And that's simply because someone ordered them that way or it was the artist's choice. So fortunately, we put the ridges in by design. We do it because we want to. So what you're going to see here in just a moment, Josh will bring the piece over after Foster passes behind him. And then in a moment, Josh will point the piece straight up toward the ceiling. Foster's cutting a jack line on the glass to help it separate from that pipe. He'll grab his shears, bring it up, stop a foot short of Josh's face, and drop the glob of glass on. He'll cut it off, and Josh will present it to him. Now Foster will begin the shaping of the stem. By using the jacks, he sets an angle, and he can separate it from the pipe a little bit. And once he gets it partway out to where he wants, he'll probably go take another reheat. And you can see by leaning the jacks out, he extends the stem. Yeah, that is a beautiful color, Joanna. That cranberry pink is one of our favorites, and we get a lot of folks that want that.
All right, let's see who's been listening the past weeks. What mineral or element or metal makes the cranberry pink? Let's see if anybody knows. You know, Bruce?
Yeah, but I'm not going to tell you. Somebody's going to come up with it. Somebody asked us about a similar color. Yes, Bridget, gold. Someone asked us a couple weeks ago about the gold ruby or the red. And Theta had answered that we don't actually use, we use the what's called the copper ruby, which is a much deeper, rich ruby color. But the cost of the gold colors is more than the other colors, but not so crazy.
Oh no, actually now it's gone up.
Is it?
It's about,
What's a bar of copper ruby cost as opposed to say
Copper ruby.
cobalt?
no, like the cranberry is like 70.
Okay, for a kilogram.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we
And
get
what is it
cobalt.
about cobalt for 45?
No, not even that.
Okay,
25 or 30.
Okay. So yeah, but don't worry. If you want one of these pieces that has that gold color in it, we will make it, and it will not increase the price. When you buy the goblet like this, you're buying it no matter what the color is that's in it. Now, if you were to order a 20-pound custom-made vase that was solid gold ruby, that might be a different thing. Yes, we do use selenium. Selenium is used actually in the copper ruby and in some other reds too. So now they're getting ready for the same, or is it another name, bar? When I asked Josh about the price of a bar, when we buy the color, we can get it in a 1 kilogram or 2.2 pound bar. And we'll get some out to show you in a couple of minutes. Because I recognize a lot of the names, but some of you may not have been here before. So it's worth talking about. All right, so now we've got a stem on it. Foster's got even more glass to form the foot. So here we go with Josh pointing the piece upward, Foster cutting a small jack line, and then delivery of the glass on the top of the stem. I guess actually that's the bottom of the stem when the cup is finally finished, but you get the idea. By cutting it off, Josh keeps it turning and delivers it to him. Foster uses a pair of wood boards called foot boards to press it on and then pinch it between the two boards. And by pinching it, that thins the glass out, gives it more of a razor edge. And then he'll go take a flash on that and then come back and finish the shaping with another really cool tool. So he'll give it all a bit of a flash, then get heat on the foot and come back and shape the foot. So let's take a look at the foot shaping. He's got a special tool here, carbide paddle. On one edge of it, it's flat, and that allows him to flatten. But look at the profile of the carbide tool. It's curved gently, and that's what gives him that beautiful taper coming down the foot. So now he's going to make sure that the foot is flattened. Will sit up beautifully on a tabletop. And then he'll hand it off to Josh and they'll do a transfer. And while they're doing that part, here are a couple of bars of color.
And that's actually the cranberry.
This is the cranberry pink right here. This one is called an Opal Rose, okay? And that Opal Rose one is just about the full length that we buy. That would be just about 1 kilogram or 2.2 pounds. So when we refer to bar stock, that's what we're talking about. Foster's going to grab his file and he's going to support the pipe and put the punty right in the center of the bottom. That's why Josh is turning it constantly so he can spot the center. Then as he rolls the irons along the bench rail, he keeps it centered. He'll scratch the surface of the glass, tap the pipe, and it breaks free. And there we have another successful transfer. Okay, so the end of that was cold enough to fracture. So we'll say it again. It's going to take a while to reheat. So he's reheating the upper surface mainly. Once the foot and stem begins to cool a little bit, he'll give that a flash heat, which is what he just did. The dark cranberry one, Josh said, runs about $70 or so. Yes, we have pieces that are made with the Opal Rose. And yes, we have one, I think, in the gallery, and I'll show you that in a minute. But right now, let's watch what the man is doing. So he's heating that up. And then he's going to open the hole in the end of that a little bit. And then after that, he'll probably steam it up some. You can see where the heat's located. It's out in the tip of the glass. He's going to open that up a little bit, flatten the end with the strap or back of the shears. And he's got his steam cone set and ready to go. So you saw Josh use a steam cone earlier down on the other bench. You're going to get to see it again. So he's going to bring that back, take the steam cone out of the water, insert it into the piece, which is hot. The steam that results will inflate the piece. He's chilling the edge of it so that that doesn't move too much. He needs a good tight seal around that, and you may even hear it squeak a little bit. There goes the inflation. It pushes in on the lip a little bit, but rather than let it fold, he uses the jack blades like a pair of fingers to extract the glass back outward. And in just a moment, and all those flames are from the wax that's on the jacks, just melting off. Nothing to worry about. And there won't be a residue in the finished piece. So now he's going to work on the bowl of the goblet. After he gets the heat centered, situated in the top of that, he'll come back and begin to open the bowl to pretty much straight-sided. We'll wait for him to come back over. You'll be able to see where the heat's concentrated. by putting the jacks in at the angle that he sees in the glass, and then lowering the angle, he straightens the side out considerably. He raises the jacks up against the edge of it, but he also lets them spread apart because the diameter is getting so much larger. Then after another reheat, if he's got any more final adjustments, he'll do that and then eventually take it off. But right now he's checking sizes, making sure the shape is just what he wants. There probably is money to be made in producing colored bar stock, but that industry pretty much left the U.S. years ago, didn't it? Most of our color is either manufactured in Germany or Australia or New Zealand.
Well, I think Gaffer moved to the U.S.
Gaffer has a production facility?
Yeah, in the U.S.
Oh, okay. Gaffer Glass is a company that started out making glass in Australia, New Zealand, yeah. And because of their immense sales throughout the U.S., they make wonderful color. Foster's adjusting the calipers right now so he can make a mate to this later on. So that's why he's taking the measurement and why he keeps smacking it against the bench rail to change the size of that. So, at any rate, and we'll show you a couple of pieces here in a minute that are made with bar, because we've got a jack in the pulpit and a couple other things. So we'll get to that in a minute, but let's watch the man of the hour, or the minutes. So he really wants to get that measurement accurate. And that is a truly beautiful cup. And if you'd like it and a mate to it, it's available. So he's going to finish that up.
It's got your name on it.
Okay, so order that up. We'll make a pair of them for you. 301-253-6642 or artofire.com, or say something in the comments like, I want it.
It's yours. Thank you very much.
Little tap of the iron breaks the putty free, and it's into the annealer with that one. Marvelous. Okay, so somebody asked about a piece in the opal. There's the opal right there in that jack in the pulpit piece. So that's what one would look like finished. And then depending on how much color we put into it, how big a piece, then that can help determine the density of the color. And I believe that one is also, isn't it, Josh? Is that the opal?
Yeah,
That's the opal
Opal
thing.
Frit,
Yeah. Okay, so remember to like, share, comment. Last week's winner got this. We got the beautiful heart. This week we're giving away this vase right here. Okay, and that's, you want a cupcake, Tracy. Okay, well, the cupcakes aren't part of it, I'm afraid. But you can order this beautiful cake plate and then put your own cupcakes on it. So we made that on a demonstration a couple weeks ago, and those are all available. And then we've had hearts today. Still time to get your orders in on those. And okay, we are going to make a bunny next. Okay, so we just got an order come in.
Yep, for Brian Ritter.
For Brian Ritter. Okay, so while Josh is getting set up for that, I'm going to see if I can't find a piece with a little more Opal Rose in it, because I really like this one. Partly because I made it, and partly because I really like the Encalmo. I don't know if there's too much light in the background, but for whoever asked about the opal pink color, the entire bottom portion of that vessel is an opal pink, okay? And then cranberry pink, which you just saw right above it, and then it's kind of an apple green on the top. So we can get a pretty dense coverage on it if you like. We can keep it kind of thin and airy looking. So the world is your oyster. Remember to like, share, and comment. Get your comments in. That's what enters you in the drawing for next week's prize, which is this beautiful blue and green vase. Okay, I believe this is the one perhaps that Foster made last week, where Foster, did you make this last week on the YouTube?
Yeah, that was actually.
Yeah.
No, that was actually made on Tuesday.
Yeah, last Tuesday when we did the YouTube.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
right. Okay. Did that before he and I got distracted by the old guys thing. But if you watch it on YouTube and you want this piece, you'll actually see it made.
Yep.
It's got the blue frit, it's got the green frit, and it also has some white on top of it to give it a mottled effect.
No, this was actually made on Sunday afternoon. This past Sunday afternoon.
Oh, okay.
We didn't do it beforehand, so they won't see it.
Oh, okay. So you won't see this one. But he did one just like it, because he did that on Tuesday.
Is it over there? Is that
Maybe.
the one you did Tuesday?
Did you do blue and mottled?
That was this one here.
Oh, okay. I thought you did. We
No,
did a
that
model.
was this one
Okay.
here. Yes.
Okay. Well, one of us knows what we're talking about. Okay.
Or neither of you.
You're neither of us. Yeah. That's bad when we both have a senior moment. Okay. But Josh can laugh about it because his day is coming. All right. So he's going to gather up some glass here. Oh, you know what? I got distracted after y'all showed me the note. Is this cranberry pink bunny? Okie doke. All right. So, hey, if any of you want a piece in particular made right now today, we can accept an order. It'll all depend on the time frame for getting it. But Josh, we just got an order in for this bunny from Brian Ritter, and here we go. He's blocked it into shape and he's gathering the white underlayer. Is that what you would call the bunny's foundational garments? Oh, okay. All right. So a little bit of white frit on there. And then the next thing after his next gather, or after the next time, will be through the pink. Do you want that out on the marver or anything?
Let's go through it.
Okay. You're going to melt the plastic?
Yeah, melt the plastic.
Yeah, he's going to melt the plastic container that contains the frit. Actually, if you're really careful and quick, you won't melt the plastic. So, we get the 2 layers of colors on here. Oh, David Hogan says Bunderwear. I like that.
Yeah, you got to trademark it.
Bunderwear that's fun to wear. Okay. I think we're just going to stop right there, though, folks. Because I can see that getting completely out of hand. Okay, so you're going to block this some. And you saw Todd earlier on the cat he made taper the piece ahead of time, and Josh is kind of doing the same thing here just a little bit, getting a bit of a taper to it so that when he gets to the next gather, it's already going to conform a little bit to the shape he wants. Or else he's going to tell me, that's not at all what I'm doing, Bruce. I just felt like picking up my jacks and killing time. The good part is I make enough mistakes, I don't mind being corrected. All right, so here he goes with a gather of clear over the white and cranberry pink. Now he's stripping the glass off. It's still so fluid that it runs right off, and that little trail burns itself right away. Now he's got the glass out there and the length and everything he wants. He'll take the tools. He's going to use the newspaper right now to kind of alter the shape and also push on it just a little bit to get a conical top to it.
So I'm trying to get an even layer of clear glass so the pink looks like it's at the surface. So you don't actually see the clear too much.
You didn't
You're gonna see the clear.
Didn't have a completely even coat.
Yeah, you don't want like just the ears to be completely clear. You want some of that color to go into the ears.
So by pushing the glass back onto the previous gather, that's how he ensured that the color goes up in the ears. If he'd left it clear, just extending off the end, yeah, we would have had just clear ears. You can see that by pushing the paper and squeezing gently, he elongates the glass, and then as he pushes outward toward the tip, he tapers it. Now it's time for a few jack lines. He'll need one to separate the piece from the pipe. Then he'll need another one that serves as the separation between the body and the head. And then he'll need a third which separates the head from the ears. By cutting these jack lines into it, he establishes the various sections of the bunny body.
Bunny body.
I got it.
You need the,
Okay.
you're doing eyes and everything? You want the torch out?
No, I'll just use the hand torch.
Okay.
Well, that's what I offered too.
Ah,
And
I
he
didn't
said
hear that.
Just use the small torch.
Okay.
All right.
Whoop. Get that back there in the realm of possible. So next thing he has to do is flatten the area where the ears will go. You'll notice that he realizes in advance that the glass is going to fall toward the floor. So he takes that into account as he makes each of these motions, and he doesn't get hung up on doing any one of them for a really long time. That eliminates the piece falling too far off center. After he's got that flattened to the point, is this bunny Miss March? No, this is a Valentine's Day bunny. Okay, so he's going to get the ears flattened as much as he wants. Then he'll use a pair of shears to cut through it and separate the ears. So I take it, see, I let it fall, now it comes up. And as he's cutting, it's falling toward the floor a little bit. The shears support it, and now he's got the two ears. He'll straighten them out so they sit evenly on the top of the head. Get that adjusted as much as he needs. And in just a few moments after he gets that all settled, he'll hand it off to Foster, who will take care of flashing the piece, and Josh will get ready for putting the face on it. Yes, they are, Kristen. The bunnies are truly adorable. And we'd like to make a lot more of them. And Easter is not too far off. So get your orders in now. artoffire.com. And Josh, the bunny master,
That's right.
will be on the job. Notice that he's flattening them a little bit, and he's also making sure that they're even. All right, so Foster will take care of the flashing. Josh is going to heat up a little stick of black, a stringer we call it, and you'll notice he didn't put on his super duper shades. He's got his regular glasses on because this time he's actually using a MAP gas torch to heat the cane. He's not using that oxygen propane torch, which has a huge sodium flare, which is hard on your eyes. This will take a little bit longer to get the cane hot, but it will work just as well. So once he gets that hot, he'll place his first one. A little bit of heat, and he'll let that burn right off. The second eye goes on in the same manner. Burns that off, and it looks like he's got enough heat there to go for the nose. So here he goes. Oh, Josh, a special note from Debbie. Remember, your mother-in-law loves bunnies.
Is that right?
Yes. Okay, he got the message, Debbie. All right, so you can see how the bunny fell kind of backwards during that process. That's actually a good thing because it indicates that there was plenty of heat in it. Ah, Joanna got her bunny with the bow tie.
Oh,
Marvelous. Yeah, yeah. Hope you like
that was
it.
a fun one.
Okay, so Foster's going to get this flat. Josh is going to work the nose a little bit. So Foster is going to present it to Josh, who has just a little bit more work to do on the nose. And Foster will take that back and flash it some more.
There you go.
Now he'll drive a little more heat in that. It'll probably move a little bit. And because the tail goes on the other side, we'll probably watch the bunny fall to the floor in that direction. In fact, if the heat's just right, the bunny will just about straighten out on the iron while Josh makes the tail. And there we go. Just about straightened out. All right, Foster will put it back in there for a little heat. Josh will make any final adjustments. Oh, and the bunny has a little heart-shaped nose. Isn't that cute? All right. Just for you, Brian Ritter. Or I'm guessing it's going to Pamela. I think that was Pamela's wife, right? Okay. All righty, there we go with the bunny. So now Josh will put a little bit of water down in the joint that's close to the blowing iron, or I mean the solid iron. And when he hits that with the tweezers, it'll pop off in Foster's hand doing the bunny hop. Yeah. And next, Foster will do the hokey pokey. All right, let's hear it for Josh. Amazing job. All right, wonderful. Great job, guys. That was beautiful.
All right, Bruce, so what's next?
I think we're just about done. No? Okay, they've been harassing me for some stupid human tricks. And Josh wanted to show you this.
Well, I thought that was pretty cool.
A few months ago, we opened a beer bottle or two. And a long time ago, we had this one in the annealer, but didn't get around to picking it up.
So you can kind of see when it gets too hot, right?
It got a little too hot, and it distorted along those lines. But we're going to put that in the annealer now, and we're going to try to pick that up. And the reason we're using this one, this bottle of Red Stripe has what's called an enameled label on it. And so with the enameled label, if this goes well, the enameling might get a little darker, but it will not burn off. And let me see where he's putting this. Okay, so I know where to pick it up. So apparently it's going to be my turn here in a minute to do this. But let's get back to what's going on up here. Remind you of what you're seeing, and I'll hand the camera off. So Todd made a cat for Mary Ann, and then he made the hearts you saw. We have several hearts on display here, and then after the heart, Josh made a canework perfume bottle, even taller than this one, a little elegant one. And then we had Foster make the three-piece goblet. So that's pretty much what we had there. They're scribbling a note down for me. Oh, don't forget you can get gift certificates too. You don't have to have these things right by Valentine's Day. You can wait on it. Give a gift anytime you like. And if you want, you can get a gift certificate. And we might do both. I'll just do the one. Okay, so here you go, buddy. We're going to see if you can hold the camera and get it pointed the right way. You got me or yourself?
No, I've got you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go get ready. We'll be ready for you.
I've learned since then. And Fern, the bottom is, we have a flatting wheel with the magnetic wheels. So we'll grind and polish the bottom before it's signed, because it goes to one of our very good customers. And here Bruce's, he's got a fin mold here that he'll take the bottle once he opens it up, and he's measuring the diameter of the fins so that the bottle needs to be opened enough that it can go over the top. You'll push it down and open it up. The bunny is bigger than it looks online. That's correct. Joanna referred to Fern. Hi Sally Ann, and hi Naji. Hope you guys are all doing well. And while we're working on things here, Todd is making cats for his Spirit Pieces clientele, and they're spread out domestically across the country, and on occasion we get them internationally as well, from Canada to the UK. We had one last year that came in from Hong Kong, and that was really quite amazing to get that one from Hong Kong. There you go. Sally Ann, as Theta said, it won't be much longer. And Bridget said more cats. That's the wife of the cat here in the studio. Hi, Barbara. Gotta hop. Take care. Say hi to Ted.
Wait, what?
No, Barbara Belzer said she has to take off. She has to hop. Says she'll see us next week, and we'll look forward to it.
Okay. So,
We did this before. The first one shattered. So we'll see what happens today, but hopefully we'll get this beer bottle picked up on the end of an iron and open it up. The nice thing about the red stripe, as I said, is that the enamel label doesn't just burn off like a painting or paper would. So hopefully when we're done, we'll have a nice little design on the outside of the cup.
All right. So, Bruce has got a punny pipe, punny iron.
We call this a step-down punny because the end of it is reduced in diameter. It allows us to hold a thicker diameter here, a wider diameter, and that is a little bit of an aid in turning the pipe, but we have a step-down or smaller diameter on the end where we gather the glass. So it's a little easier on your hands when you're trying to grab it. I'm just making sure that it's plenty hot.
Are you going to get a gather, or are you just going to pick
I'm
up?
gonna take a
Okay.
gather on the end of this, and then I may have to shake it a little bit, make sure it's hot, and then pick up the bottle.
Okay. So here, Bruce is going to get his first, get a gather or a wrap of glass on the end of the step-down punny, holding it up in the air, so that gravity will force that glass back down towards itself, and he's rolling it back and forth on the marvering table. He's going to heat it up so that it's much hotter than after having cooled and shaped it on the marvering table. He's going to turn around, come over to the annealing oven, where Josh is going to open up the door while Bruce reaches in and touches it down to the bottom of the red stripe beer bottle. And then he'll come running quick like a bunny back to the glory hole. Okay, here they're going to reach in. He's going to hold it down momentarily onto the bottom of the middle of that red striped beer bottle. Going to pick it straight up and come back to the glory hole. Nicely done, Bruce. Terrific. And it's nicely centered on the punty iron. Okay, so he's heated the entire body of the bottle up in the glory hole. You can see where the heat is concentrated into the mouth of the piece of the bottle. He's using his jacks to begin to open up the mouth of the bottle. And because this glass is a different formula, which is designed to mechanically be blown into a mold and then set or establish the body of glass, the glass only works for a certain amount of time. That's why we have the glory hole at a rather high temperature. And as Bruce is working the opening with his jacks,
You can see we've taken most of the bend of it out.
and here he's lost the heat again. Or not lost the heat, but he's gotten to the point where it's necessary that he go ahead and reheat it so that it can continue to open up the mouth of the piece. What component makes the beer glass brown? I think that's just a mixed carbon. So Josh suggested that it was carbon. Now here Bruce is using the steam cone to puff the top of the beer bottle to get this angle, the initial angle for the fin mold. See how it starts? The fin mold at the top is more narrow and increases in diameter as it goes towards the bottom of the fin mold. So Bruce went ahead and put some dimensional aspects into the bottle, and you'll see that again here. See how it's slowly increasing in diameter as it comes to the mouth. Here, and it's kept all of the, it's keeping all of the printing on the side of the bottle. That's the beauty about the, what is this? It's enameled. It's a high temperature fired enamel. Here, Bruce has really got the mouth here, and he's opening it up. I think he may have to open it up one more time.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Bruce is going to open up this diameter just a little bit more. Get it prepared. He's going to go ahead and take some calipered measurements. And he was just saying that he wanted to open up the diameter just a little bit more.
You're pretty good, right? That's pretty good.
Kristen, what we do is we take a piece of glass or a stone, and what we do is on the bottle, we go ahead and scratch the surface.
Okay.
If it scratches, oh, there we go.
Let's just put it on the floor.
Okay, we're going to take this. All right, Bruce is ready this time.
We're going to heat it slowly, a little bit at a time, so that I don't put a whole lot of heat in at once, and just store it. And then when I come back, the whole thing should easily move down over the thin wall.
What Bruce was saying was that he was slowly heating the mouth of the piece. Here we come. You can see the top of the bottle, it's spread out to follow the profile of the fins. He just shared that profile with us.
I'll show you the label.
We're going to get the label here. There's the label right there, red stripe with the panels and the verbiage on the back of the bottle as well. Bruce, that was terrific. What an excellent job, my friend. Nicely done. Now, so he's going to use a butter knife to chip that ponthole juncture. Going to hit the pipe, and off comes the piece. There you go. What a beautiful bunny. So that piece will be able to be hold the beverage.
Superhuman tricks.
There you go. And from superhuman old guys.
Huh? Let's do it. Okay, so we got one more stupid human trick for you. So we're going to use enameled bottles again, but about 8 or 10 years ago, Josh and I made a goblet out of 2 red, what was it? No, not red, rock. Rolling rock bottles. So we're going to try to do that again. No guarantees, but at least it'll be fun to try. So we're going to coordinate which one of us is doing what at each time. So I'll pick up the first bottle, and then I'll put the next down on it. We'll take that one of money to be the foot or the stem. Maybe it's all kind of way. It'll be both. Okay. Good enough. So all we really need is one bottle. Okay.
Hi, Rude. Yeah. Rude.
Right place.
Yeah, Rude said that he liked that beer bottle glass. It turned around. I think.
Having a little trouble there.
I think the battery's getting low.
All right.
Battery's getting low.
I think we're good. Yeah.
Put
So I
that
wouldn't.
on this one here too, side to side.
Yeah. So I wouldn't change anything. You're good.
Josh, we use the fin on the other on this one, the smaller fin.
It's up to you. It's your call. You're the artist.
Sarah, let's use it. It's over here. Let's just take a measurement.
All right, Bruce is getting a gather of glass from the furnace on the end of his step-down punty. He's marveling the piece to a point. He's going to heat it up again in the glory hole. So Suzanne Himmelberg asks, are wine bottles just as sturdy?
Yeah.
They would make some beautiful vases. Do you do demonstrations on all of these recyclables?
We have done wine bottles. We've never live streamed it. Is it long?
Root says yes, we should take the lead.
Yeah.
and Root liked the beer bottle.
Yeah, Root could probably find some nice beer bottles for you.
Patrick says, who trained that cameraman? I think it's a self-taught, an OJT, Patrick. And I think, honestly, the batteries are getting a little tired. Okay, here we go with the Rolling Rock beer bottle. We're going to go ahead and heat that up. That was excellent, Bruce. Good for you. Nicely done. Yeah, Bridget said Bruce trained him. Yeah, I just don't pay as much attention as I should when Bruce is talking. Bruce has had more experience than I have. I could have given this to Todd or to Josh, but I couldn't have given it to Josh because Josh is going to be the other side of this goblet being made from the 2 beer bottles. Okay, you see this one has the much longer neck to it. So, what Bruce is doing is he's closing this down, and I believe he's going to go ahead and knock it off. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're actually going to knock it off onto a punny.
Oh, we're going to knock this off onto a punny.
Yeah.
And open it up.
Right.
Okay, this is interesting. So, Bruce is making the neckline to take the piece away from the bottle itself. Josh has just picked up some glass on another step-down punny that we're going to hold in the pipe warmer. Yes, Ted, the neck is going to be the stem, is that correct?
Yeah, the stem and the foot.
The stem and the foot.
You close it down a little for me, though. Actually, no, you're good.
Okay. So we're going to stick this on.
Got the tweezers. Come off.
There we go. Nicely done. All right. So Josh has the neck, which will be the stem and the foot. Bruce has the main bottle portion.
You want your bench back or you want to go there? Okay.
Yes, Kristen, this is not something that you see every day.
No.
And Joanna in London really likes this.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Joanne. I was telling my son in Portland, Oregon, about all the people all over the world that we have watching us. And he said, gee, Dad, you should have the Bruce Worldwide Tour and just go all around the places where there's glass shops that want to see this insane behavior. And you can travel the world. I don't think that's happening.
And here's Josh working on the neck. To make it the stem and the foot. He's doing quick reheating. Tracy Culkin's Warble says she loves the insane behavior. All right, here's the foot. And pulling the glass to create the stem.
You're pretty close, Bruce? Yeah, he's got a...
want a paddle?
No. No thanks.
Okay, so while Josh was opening up the foot, all right. So,
Yep.
there you go. All right.
Well, we're going to need another pair of hands.
I'll flash it while you make the money.
What's that?
I'll flash it while you make the money.
I mean the inside one.
Yeah. I'll flash that while you make the inside money.
All right, so Bruce and Josh are talking to coordinate this, and here in just a moment, Bruce is going to come back down onto a thinner fin mold and do the same thing as with the stripe bottle. And this is the Rolling Rock all the way to the end. There we go. So it has the profile from that fin mold. Todd's getting a gather of glass. We're going to bring everybody together here momentarily.
Stick this up on the inside, Bruce?
What's that?
Put this on the inside?
Inside, yeah. Yeah, so we're going to do something a little bit different here. We're going to be called what's puttying inside the cup. So we got a putty on the outside at the bottom right now to hold it in place. So Todd's made a, yes, please. Todd's made a putty, but I'm going to have to grip this way back so that I can bring it in.
Putting it on the inside.
And set it up there. And now we've got that going. And so Todd's going to help me turn in it. And then what I'm going to do is put a drop of water on it. I'm going to lift Todd. And off it comes. Now Todd takes that piece. And now the turning becomes opposite to what you would think. By holding it with that wide side up, the piece falls to center. And you can see that putty is very hot because this piece wants to fall a lot. So what I'm going to do is take a little heat there, but then I'm going to hold it straight up so it distributes around the putty evenly. And that'll help stabilize some of that moving, I hope. And then a quick flash of the body. So now it's not dripping quite as bad. What do you think?
I'm good whenever you are.
So what? I'll have to what? Right down to the shears?
No, I'm going to knock it off onto this guy.
Drop it on that. So what? Just keep the bottom of this like that?
I'll leave the bottom.
You're gonna have the bottom, yeah, on top of that. Okay.
Okay, so these guys are communicating with each other so that we can bring this piece to its completion. All right.
Torching? Yep.
Okay.
Torching.
All right. So Bruce is going to come with the bottle, open bottle, the cup.
Yep, straight down. Push, 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 push.
There we go. Excellent. All right. So now the cup has a foot to it. We put the two together. All right. Very nice, gentlemen. So here Bruce is using the strap of the jacks, as we call it, to push that foot onto the bottom of the cup. We're going to use the torch to enter some more additional heat.
I tried to get that to touch up for a while.
Okay, I'll take a flash and we'll push it some more.
What we're doing is we're making extra sure that the two pieces are joining together. That's the purpose of the torch at that weld. Bruce is pushing the foot in while Josh is helping to keep the cup centered. Good.
Heat, let's try it again. We'll try it again. So I was worried about that
Okay.
junction.
Do you want that other torch?
It'll be okay. It'll get really hot.
Okay, so you saw that when they tried to take it off, the cup stayed attached to.
Put the diamond shears on the marble, please.
Okay, Bruce just asked me to put the diamond shears on the marvering table alongside the foot. We're going to try this again.
That was pretty hard.
Good.
Yep. Good, we'll start. There we go, that's good then.
All right, they put the foot back on again. We're going to go through this exercise once again. This is no easy feat. Yep.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Jen, there is no glass whatsoever in the glory hole. The glory hole is strictly a reheating furnace. So if that foot were to drop off or any other glass were to drop into the glory hole, it would not contaminate anything. It's the main glass furnace that has the clear glass. Okay, here we're working to get that foot adhered and nice and straight, which is where it is. I'm going to try this again.
And grab a flash.
Okay, then what Bruce is doing is he's using his pincers or his tweezer tools. Josh has his glove. They're hitting the pipe to get the punny to separate, and hopefully will keep the foot in its integrity attached to the bottom of the cup.
Give it a haircut.
Once again,
We got the putty on there. I put the putty on a little too high. So it's pretty all welded to the bottom. So I should let it wait a little longer.
the sew line. Yeah, you can
What I'm gonna do right now,
you can watch this last portion. This is just about it.
pull them on it like that? Yeah, we might as well. So we're going to try something we don't normally do. I'm going to pull back on the putty while Josh holds the cup. And that should stretch it off of the bottom a little bit for when I hit it. It's too deep in there to try to get any water in it.
Yes, Cindy, this is interesting, to say the least.
Pulling the bottom.
Okay, give it some hard hits.
Oh, okay. There.
That's where we say, you get the idea.
That's all, folks. And what an amazing show, you guys. That was terrific.
1 out of 2 is 50%.
There you go.
That was a nice foot.
Yes.
All I gotta say, it was a really nice foot.
It was a nice foot. That's a beautiful foot.
Look at that foot. It's just has all of its integrity. So does the bottle.
Okay.
So that's it for today. Yes, Bill O'Donnell, it is a learning moment. I don't know how to close this down.
You don't know how to close this down?
I don't know how
Okay.
to close this down.
Well,
So
hey,
that's
that wasn't too bad.
A learning moment.
That nonsense last week took us almost 3 hours. So we're ready to go. Oops. Yep, that's right. Okay. Well, anyway, it was fun. Glad to have you with us. Get your orders in. Hearts. We can actually make flowers, but that's not too big a deal. Get your hearts in for Valentine's Day. Yes, that's the way the Rolling Rock breaks. We got champagne flutes for your favorite beverage. We got perfume bottles, so everybody smells good. And we got everything under the sun you
And we
could
got gift
possibly.
certificates. So
Gift
if you get a
certificates.
gift certificate, your partner, loved one can pick something out. We can make it for them next Tuesday. So even though it's after Valentine's Day, you can give it to them this Sunday, and then we can make something for you Tuesday. So that's a thought.
Okay. Yep. Give us a call, 301-253-6642. Order up your own special piece of glass, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.